Guys?
What?
Oh my god. They're having a barbecue! Well, I'm finally going to cover RWBY Volume 4. Apparently a lot of people want to hear my opinion, so what was it that you were all waiting all this time for? I mean, Volume 4 started off great. It was funny, emotional, scenery looks pretty. I think there's a little dip in the action thanks to the lack of Mercury or the loss of Monty. I'm not sure if the timing specifically matches up for that. Some of the characters introduced were neat. Whitley is probably my favourite. He feels a lot more complicated and opinionated than other antagonists who still kind of feel fairly generic. Although I love to see change with any character, and Cinder certainly fulfills that. Oh, don't be sad, Cinder. If this doesn't work out, I'm sure you could run a successful crematory business. Point is, she's different, and things being different, well, this is pretty relevant to RWBY Volume 4. What made the end of Volume 3 so impactful was its willingness to make big changes, to force the plot into a position where there was no going back. No good plot is ever sustainable. The situation should always be changing, and the bigger and more consequential you can make the changes, the stronger impact they will have. At the start, we got to see a lot of the stuff we anticipated to change in Volume 4. We got to see Team Ranger interact, Blake and Weiss's family, Jean coping with the loss of Pyrrha. I just imagine Jean sitting in a dark room playing like Dark Souls or something.
Ashen one, Ashen one, Ashen one, Ashen one, Ashen one.
But beyond those things, I don't know. I mean, Volume 4 has this to an extent, which is why my favourite story going on in Volume 4 was Weiss's, because her losing her title and running away to go rogue has consequences. You create life, and the first thing you do is commit property damage. Weiss going rogue feels totally different from where we left off in Volume 3, and even further still from where she was in Volume 2. That was what made this arc strong. Everything else doesn't really feel like it has much impact. Crow getting poisoned doesn't really change anything. He got better, his character is neither dead nor mentally different. Sure, they get to Haven, but that's what we've been anticipating since Volume 3. I didn't realize we were gonna go hiking for 12 episodes, I thought we would have like skipped most of that. The only thing that really changed was that Crow revealed himself and an anticipated couple got to hold hands. Oh, and I guess we got some villains. Big deal, happens in every series. There's the chill one, the pompous one, and the one who's playing an internal game of the Flores lava. Sure, whatever. We got to hear some backstory, and I'm invested enough in Ren and Nora that it's mildly interesting to me. In fact, there's a couple of scenes besides the John one at the start that really got the emotional power of the scenes in Volume 3. And it's because of that I call Volume 4 alright, despite how little has changed. Again, in Blake's little arc, we had one of these, and it had her emotions to everything that happened, and her developing past that a bit, but what did we have to do to get to that? We had to go on a long-ass boat trip, run into the sun, who I still don't care about, Bumblebee for life. We had a big fight with a giant, big-ass fucking sea dragon, and run through a bunch of exposition about the White Fang. Okay, please don't think that I'm saying this is a bad volume. It's alright. It's still funny and emotional. I watch the episodes every week, and I didn't have to push myself through it when I watched it again for this video. I just think it's a bit of a letdown from the bounce ball that was the incredible Volume 3. I mean, Yang's arc was horribly disappointing, because I can't make any more arm jokes. No, what we got was fine. She developed a little and came to terms with losing an arm. She had a sweet little moment that made me like her character a little more, and then she went on her way. But now it just kind of feels like we're back to square one. Her arm is just metal now. Assumedly, this will play into her actions once we meet Adam again, but I was really expecting something a little more interesting. What if, I don't know, she was devastated to lose a part of herself? What if she couldn't accept that? What if she didn't feel like she deserved to just get her arm back after she fucked up so badly? What if she took that metal arm as a personal insult because she didn't earn it? Unable to let go of the past, she grabs her other gauntlet and leaves the arm on the table, taking off into the night. Of course, she crashes the motorcycle because she can't operate it with one arm, and ends up wandering around for ages until she runs into a group of White Fang. She tries to take out her anger on them, but she gets the shit kicked out of her. Only when she reaches total desperation does she think back to her fight with Mercury. She straps the other shotgun gauntlet to her leg and starts learning to transfer her rage into her wits. She learns to fight smarter, and when she finally beats the shit out of that group of White Fang, she gloats in their fucking face. She won't be held down. She's Yang Xiaolong, and she's going to take everything the world throws at her. And boom, now it's not just like she has a shiny hand instead of a not shiny hand. There's a change in her mental state, and when she feels like she's earned it, she'll bust out that metal hand in a crucial moment and be more powerful than ever. Alright, let me cool down for a second. See, now what did change is the amount of exposition we got. And I feel like this may be the source of a lot of this volume's problems. We learn about the White Fang, Blake's family's involvement in it, Ren and Nora's backstory, more about the Four Maidens, the political situation with Weiss's family and their involvement, Salem's hierarchy, and more about what her plans are. It feels like we're setting up a lot of stuff here, and I think with these giant exposition dumps, they were forced to break it up a lot with these menial fights. That's why we got a lot of these random Grimm fights. Ren and Nora's Grimm from their hometown was a little better since it was more heavily linked in, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still just a monster and won't really change the plot outside of triggering this relationship change. Even Tyrion's fight with Crow debatably didn't need to happen. What did it result in? Tyrion lost his tail and favor with Salem. I think the real point of that fight was to introduce Salem's group to Team Ranger, and spark the scariest of all campfire stories. The tale of more fucking exposition! And the only really interesting exposition to come out of all of this was Ren and Nora's backstory and Crow's semblance. Which, I mean, if his semblance is bad luck, he must have like a million illegitimate children all over the country. Now, I mean, Tyrion's fight was pretty great. It had that awesome hand-to-hand choreography RWBY is known for. Crow just punching Tyrion after losing his weapon is also fantastic, and RWBY makes a couple of smart plays. I think if they were really going to aim for the pacing fights to break up exposition, they really need to be aiming for more stuff like this, or that one fight in Volume 3 that was enjoyable even though it wasn't linked up to any of the plot. Well-written, intelligent, and stylish choreographed fights that are fun by themselves. I mean, what about that mecha fight where they created smoke screens and stuff? Shut up, I know it's technically an ice cream, but that sounds way too tasty to be threatening. But yeah, how about more of that? I mean, the smart, funny, choreographed fights are achieved to some extent, but with all this exposition and lack of change, you really need to push this into overdrive to match Volume 3. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Volume 4. It was funny, and it was emotional just like Volume 3, but it only had one or two good fights, and the changes we got were nowhere near as significant or as highly numbered. I don't know, it still feels like the end of Volume 3 for me. Half the things that were going to be different about Season 4, I felt like we're still waiting on them. It feels like we got a lot of backstory, and next season things are gonna happen. I wanted to see Team RWBY reunite, at least to some degree. I wanted to see Jean reach some closure. I wanted to see what Blake and Yang had to say to each other. I wanted to see Yang and Blake interact with Adam. I wanted to see Penny at least mentioned. And I want to know what happened to Neo. I know everyone wants to know why she's mute, but that should be obvious. Ice Cream doesn't talk. Duh. Volume 4, though, amounted to finding out what happened to Ozpin, getting your arm back, running away from home, and some hand-holding. Like, compare that to Volume 3. People died, the home you had for the past 3 volumes fell to the fucking ground, people were broken, traumatized, scattered, everything was different. Again, this volume was fine. I enjoyed myself, and after Season 3, I'm super invested in RWBY, so I'ma keep watching until it starts to pick up again. Just like, hurry up, you know, or I'm gonna have to make another Did You Drop RWBY?
I never felt that it was wise to wish too much.